What's up, YouTube world? It's your boy J Dub, the #1 comment on YouTube, and I'm back with another review. Today I will be reviewing Love is Blind. This is season 2, episode 8. So before I get started, for those who are new to my channel, I do reviews and recaps of reality shows. I don't do every scene. I go by things that stick out to me because I'm a very detailed person. And if I've missed some of those details or some things you want to add, you know what to do. Get down in those comments because this channel, it's all about the comments. So I don't ask for the likes or subscriptions, but I do ask for the comments because, as I said, it's all about the comments. We get down in the comments and have a great time. We joke, laugh, get some points out, learn from each other, debate. And the only thing I say is just let's be respectful to each other. Other than that, the motto of this channel is say what you say. So that means whether it's a popular or unpopular opinion, just get it out. Say it. You don't have to be apologetic about it, feel no way about it. Get it out. Say what you say, because here all comments are welcome. So let's go ahead and get started with the review. We picked up where we left off from episode 7. Natalie is introducing Shane to her parents, and they are surprised to see him. And he comes in the door with dinner and flowers and all of that. And I'm gonna say, just like Shane and Natalie, her parents are like night and day. Natalie's parents, her mother is very like a logical person. Her father is like a very optimistic, dreamy kind of guy. So, you know, he thinks the best of everything and just super supportive of whatever Natalie does. And Shane pretty much tells them that they really kind of focus on enjoying each other and having fun. And the father, and Natalie's father, says, like, you know, hey, that's the same thing we do, because, you know, my wife is like my best friend. And I thought it was funny that her mother said, well, ask me if I think you my best friend. I thought that was real funny. And that's a real thing, because, you know, I get down in the comments and I want to know what your opinion is, because that's a subject, you know, I think about or have learned in my life. Not all the time, like when people are married or have a significant other, they're best friends. And I just want to see what y'all think about it. I thought that is how it is, but in real life, sometimes one person thinks they have a best friend and one person just thinks they're good friends. So I would say, for me, it just differs from couple. It differs from couples to couples. And what I can tell you, if you're married and if you have a dedicated partner, certainly that will be the best friend you will ever have. Meaning you will have no better friend to you. That might not be your best friend. They may prefer to hang out with their real best friend or their sister or their cousin, but you won't have a better friend either way. So the next scene, we go to Sal and Mallory, and Sal and Mallory, they have some bumps in the road because one of Sal's exes came over to his sister's house looking for him and going off about it. But I wonder how like Natalie found out. Did Sal just give that information up, or, you know, Sal just feels like, well, he wants to make peace, so he approaches Mallory and just wants to talk to her and let him know that this is a person that he has not, I guess, been in a relationship with, but been dealing with for like over a year. And he's explained to her that it's nothing serious. They can see other people. And Mallory's she's just wondering, like, what's really going on with the situation. And Sal's more so like, well, it's kind of my fault. I guess I was dragging the situation out, even though I knew I wanted to be married. Maybe we shouldn't have been hanging out. But I thought that in that situation, Mallory was kind of asking good questions to get clarity, because it kind of came off like Sal was hiding something. And she was pretty much saying like, well, you know, how did she just came over to your sisters? Did she call them? And he was like, oh no, they just came over. Because you could see she was digging and trying to find out. She was like, well, so do you introduce all women you deal with to your sisters? And Sal just shut down. He just stopped answering questions because I guess like a murder suspect, he knew he was digging himself deeper and deeper. And Mallory just plain let Sal know, like, hey, like, if it's more to come of this, or like you're dealing with somebody else besides me, we gonna be done. So I don't want you to be surprised. So let's go to Shake the Fake and Deepti, and they're having dinner, and he finally explains to Deepti that he went all the way around the world with it, but he explained to her that he's not really feeling that physical attraction to her. And you can see that Deepti was bothered by what he said. I mean, who wouldn't be bothered by that? But what I can say is that Deepti is being Deepti. She's gonna make the best of the situation, and that's what she did. She was pretty much telling Shake, well, aren't married people supposed to be best friends? Just with that subject I was just talking about, and they pretty much agreed to that. They just gonna figure it out. And I'm just thinking, like, that's a tough thing to figure it out. I'm glad he finally told her, because Shake has been telling everybody except DT that, hey, I'm not feeling that animalistic attraction to her or whatever. And now she knows. So it's up to her to make the decision at this point. So we go to Ayanna and Jared. She's introducing her parents to Jared. But before we go any further, you know, for people who know my channel, I'm into the details, and we can't get past this detail without clearing this up. Like, when Jared met Ayanna's parents, because Ayanna, she said she has adopted parents. She met them when she was 18, and they adopted her at 22. She's now 27. So, I mean, that's a whole bunch of other questions there. But when I saw her parents, Ayanna's adopted mother looked like she could be Jared's age or younger than him. And I'm like, hold up. Woo. I mean, like, what's going on? Because to me, it is questionable. I get it. It's a new day. The young people in the world is a little tougher than it was. In my day, when you turned 18, you could go out and get your own and go do your own. And they didn't have the safety nets that they have now. Like, when you turn 18, you couldn't be on nobody's insurance anymore, no matter what you was doing, whether you was in college or not. Now, they can do it till they 26 years old. When we got out there, we had to do it for ourselves and like really struggle. So it is kind of weird to me, even though I wasn't said I wasn't gonna really get into it, but Ayanna's adopted at the age of 22 years old, and she's 27. So obviously she's still being taken care of right now, because now Jared has a concern that in marrying Ayanna, he has to take on another load. So she's not established, and she's still trying to go to school at 27, which is nothing wrong with that. But when you still want to be in the adoptive kid mindset, where like, hey, I probably not gonna be able to work, and I gotta go to school. It's like, you're 27. We supposed to kind of got through all that, or you supposed to be working your way through school. People do it all the time because they gotta eat and live. So I would say I'm concerned about that, but I just could not get past like Jared, like looking at somebody he could have been in high school with. Like, I would have a problem with that. That would throw me off. I mean, I know you have to accept people for what they are and everything, but like, I'm looking at my peer, and you're supposed to be my mother-in-law. You know, the father, I really couldn't tell, but he seemed kind of young. It's something off to me about that situation. If you think so, or you think something different, put it in the comments, because I was like, I don't even know how Jared could like continue the conversation with them. Like, this your mother? I'm like, we went to school together. We was in the same class, but this your mother. Okay. But and we could see, I guess, who was kind of leading the conversation, Ayanna's adopted mother. She just pretty much wanted to know, like, what does Jared see in Ayanna, like, that made him choose her? And he was like, yeah, her resilience, like her drive to keep going. And she's like, well, resilience is cool, but like, what about her personality? Like, is she sweet, funny? And Jared didn't really have nothing else to say. And they got into her parents got into whether they had arguments or disagreements, and Ayanna kind of questions Jared's ability to give up that single life, and Ayanna's mother's sister told Jared, like, hey, we don't want you to lose yourself and not have a social life, but you do need to kind of make adjustments in doing so if you want to be married. And I mean, which she's right, but Jared should already know that, because Ayanna has brought it up anyway. Because Ayanna feels like he's just talking and he hasn't really made the adjustments, even though it's only been 2 weeks. But I can see what she's saying. It's just like he still thinks he can have a fiance and or wife, but still keep living a single life, which isn't going to work. So Ayanna's daddy brother had pretty much asked, which questions I hate. It sounds like real interview. So where do you see yourself in 1 year? Like, let me see. I'm a fortune teller. I'm gonna lock in and see. But I understand. He pretty much asking Jared, like, what is his plans as far as being with Ayanna, married, and having a family and dealing with their family. And yeah, it's just a weird situation that I really couldn't get into. So let me get off of it before I go into it. So we see Shane, aka Doofy, for those who might be new to my reviews, because that's what I call Shane. He's Doofy, like he's Doofy. That's Doofy. So Doofy introduces Natalie to his mom, and I can't skip over certain details. I'm just wondering why Shane's mother. Now, I just talked about Ayanna with her mother's sister, like how young she looks. Now, Shane's mother looks probably 20 to 30 years older than she is. Like, Shane's mother looked like the Crypt Keeper. I don't know if it has anything to do with smoking or like her skin is so wrinkly and thick and leathery. And I'm like, it'd be hard to look at her. Like, her eyes about to just sink in, and I can't look past. I gotta say something. I gotta say what I say. So for those who may not like, I gotta say what I say. So let's call her, she's 55, but she look 85. So Shane is being Shane. He's Doofy. He's awkward, and he does just talking to his mom and just trying to find out where she's at with Natalie. And she seems happy with Natalie. Natalie's handling herself well throughout the process. And Shane stops his mom and he said, "Mom, can I ask you something?" And his mother's like, "Well, that depends what it is. I mean, do you approve of Natalie?" She's like, "Of course I do." And I'm like, Shane is so he's hard to watch. And he's going to end the meeting with his mom while Natalie's sitting there and say, "Well, well, if you guys excuse me, I'm going to do a number 2." Like is Doofy 2 years old that he's sitting at a dinner table with his mother and his fiance, and he has to tell somebody that he's going to do a number 2. Not he's going to use the restroom or excuse me, I'll be right back. This is a 30-plus-year-old man telling me he got to go do a number 2. Like, come on now. And so we go in and see like the men and women separate, because the men are going tuxedo shopping and the women are going just do their bridal gowns. They're meeting with their respective family and friends and all of that. I didn't really get into that because that didn't really seem very interesting to me. There's little points I saw, like how they didn't really separate. Like, women, they all showed each other their wedding gowns, and I thought that could be awkward with some, because I thought about especially like who did I think about? Like Danielle. Danielle was super, she's not secure, and she really focused on her looks. So I thought that would be awkward. She seemed to make it out all right, but I think anyone would want that private moment for their private circle. And as far as the men, they're meeting up with their family and friends with their tuxedos. And the only thing I really noticed, Jared, what they're from Chicago, like Jared's in the game. Jared is with the dangling cross earring boys. Like, I didn't see Jared with one, but all his friends had the same one. They had the stud in the left and a dangling cross in the right. Yeah, I said they in the game. The dangling cross earring boys. So let's get past that. So Sal, they show Sal, he's cooking his famous shrimp stir fry. And why? Because he's trying to get out the doghouse. He's trying to get out the doghouse with Mallory, because she's still kind of pissed about the ex and all that. He want to smooth it over, and it pretty much worked. he pulled out like little romantic flower petals and served a meal like when she got off work, and she really liked it. And it worked so well that Mallory actually confessed to Sal that she's in love, and so did Sal. But they didn't even kiss. They might have held a little hand. I'm like, it's so fake. It ain't real. So the episode pretty much wrapped up with Danielle and Nick. They always got to kind of wrap it up with Danielle and Nick, because Danielle and Nick bring the drama, especially Danielle. So they're going to do a cake testing for their wedding cake. And, you know, with these two, no matter what happens, they just can't have a normal day. And after they trying different cakes, and, you know, Nick asks us what I thought a normal question would be. He's like, so, you know, how do you feel about the cakes? And Danielle's like, well, yeah, as far as the cakes, you know, I feel good about it. But hey, one thing I'm not feeling good about, we got some differences between us, and we only got like a week to get this straight. And Nick just like melts down, like, oh my God. You can see he's just so frustrated. And Danielle is so exhausting. I don't even know if Nick has some issues going on so much, or is that she's like driving this man crazy. Because just watching them, it drives me crazy. Danielle is insufferable. Like, we talking about a cake. Now you worried about. So what was Danielle's issue this time? She was upset that Nick kind of put it to her that he wasn't comfortable with her always going out with her friends. And Danielle's like, well, you know, I've only known you for 10 days, so how could you think that every weekend would be like this? And I understood what Nick was saying to Danielle, because you don't know how people really move, especially looking at the situation like Jared. Some people really believe that they can continue their single lives, and it will flow into marriage without making any adjustments. For most people, that don't work. You know, yes, people like to not be with each other 24/7, but I can feel his concerns. But Danielle was like making the man, she was accusing him of like, hey, I can't never go out with my friends, and I gotta be with you. He was just asking like, you know, I do want to do some things together, and I get that. So I don't know, like Danielle just kind of, she asked the question, then spent it around, and you can see she got a tone and got a little snarky, a little angry. And I'm like, she has anxiety, again, flips it on you, and start accusing you of things that you haven't said or done. I mean, I'm like, it's too much. Like, the lady is like, she's dangerous. I'm telling you, like, that man need to get away from her. So they ended on a note with anxiety and frustration as always, and it's self-inflicted. So they got to decide if they're going to be able to work that out. So that was pretty much the end of the episode. So again, as I say, continue to rock with me. Get down in those comments. Tell me what you thought, something I missed, something you want to add. And as I always tell y'all could be anywhere in this YouTube world, but you're here with me. I really appreciate that, and I really mean it.